cracking? How you feel out there, y'all? It's Friday. Welcome to the Friday edition of Burn It Down with Kim Brown. Hi, how y'all feeling out there today, man? I'm doing all right, man. I'm doing okay. I'm very happy and excited to see all y'all's very specific smiling faces up in the place. It is the Fire Fam. It is the Burn It Down Brigade. I suppose that's just who we gonna be since we never took a secondary vote to see if there was some other contenders. So fuck it, we just roll with what we got, and that's all good with me. I appreciate y'all so much. Everybody checking in, tuning in. So y'all, what's new? Well, first of all, let me, if for all y'all who are not our normal Fire Fam, welcome to Burn It Down with Kim Brown. This is a safe space where we set oppression ablaze and we know that something better will arise from the ashes. And on today's program, you guys, we have a couple places that we need to go, okay? Censorship of leftists on social media has struck us again, the Burn It Down with Kim Brown family. First of all, we had one of our videos snatched down from YouTube. I'll tell you all about that. But as something similar that happened to Hood Communist on Twitter, our comrade Chuck Modiano, Chuck Modi, one on Twitter, had his account suspended. Now, I'm not sure if this is a permanent suspension or what, but we are going to discuss why it seems that these social media platforms, you know, it's different to the platform Trump and those on the right who were openly organizing the January 6th insurrection and openly calling for the murders of Congress people and hang Mike Pence and all this shit. There's a big difference between what the fuck they were doing on social media and what accounts and individuals like Hood Communist and Chuck Modiano have been doing on social media. And it's interesting that, or at least in the instance of Hood Communist blog, they were not given a specific reason as to why their account was deleted. And I'm probably certain that something similar has happened to Chuck. So we're going to talk about that. And I'll tell y'all about the bullshit YouTube tried to with us. But we'll get into that a little later in the show. Also, we are going to take a look at what is the latest happening in Palestine, what the movements and actions have been like across the country and around the world in support and in defense of Palestine. I have to tell y'all, like, the Israeli-Palestinian, you know what? It's so fucking lazy to even say the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. It's not a fucking conflict, right? Like, Israel is provoking and engaging a lot of this bullshit in true settler colonialism style, right? Just running up in Palestine, kicking people out their houses, kicking people out their buildings, and if they don't get down, it's lay down, right? So we are going to take a peek at what is happening now in Palestine. Let one of these TikTokers, actually, shout out to the people on TikTok, really to the kids on TikTok, because these kids be breaking down very complex issues within 60 seconds. And there's a very astute TikTok video that I saw that accurately tells us what's happening in Palestine. So we're going to take a look at that and hashtag Free Palestine. But to start off the show, y'all, I would like for us, if we could, to start with the CDC's brand new guidelines. Are we all aware of the new guidelines out here? If you aren't, late yesterday, the Centers for Disease Control really shocked everybody. Apparently, nobody was clued into this. Not the White House, not Dr. Well, I guess Dr. Fauci. They probably, they included Dr. Fauci in, and Dr. Fauci made an appearance on Jake Tapper that was less than impressive, and we'll get to that also. But the new news is that fully vaccinated people do not need to wear masks either indoors or outdoors. If you are fully vaccinated, the need for social distancing is pretty much nil. The CDC is still recommending masks be worn in certain situations. For example, riding public transit, riding the bus, riding the train, riding an airplane. But it is mask off for real. And, you know, given that the Centers for Disease Control over the course and the duration of this pandemic, which by the fucking way is still happening. Look at India. Look at a variety of places where vaccinations have not been mass distributed and the pandemic is still running wild and mutating and all kinds of crazy shit, right? So the pandemic is still very much on and popping. America, being a rich, greedy nation, procured all these hundreds of millions of vaccinations for its people as it seems, only half, roughly, about the American population are interested. At least half of U.S. adults, nearly half of U.S. adults are only interested in the vaccination. The fact that half of U.S. adults have not yet been vaccinated. And out of that half, I'm sure there's a significant portion of the population who is not intending to get the vaccination at all, right? So that tells me that a giant mutation of this vaccine, of this, this virus, this COVID-19. I mean, it's going to be COVID-20, right? I mean, COVID-21, like it's going to keep freaking and mutating into some shit that we can't contain because we have not achieved herd immunity. I believe herd immunity is 70%. Yep, we're not there. Now, I'm hoping that we will eventually get there now that they're saying that the kids, the 12 to 15-year-olds can get vaccinated. That's your middle schoolers. I'm sure parents might be ready, perhaps, for the children to get vaccinated. I know we got a couple of anti-vaxxers here, but fuck that shit, y'all. We have had this discussion. We have talked about polio and tuberculosis and how those two things fared after vaccinations for those respective diseases were widely disseminated. You don't even hear about polio and TB no more, man. So let's get with the program, people. We're gonna fuck with science somewhat, but I am aghast, truly, at the CDC for making this very sharp turn of an announcement because, y'all, it wasn't even 2 months ago. I believe it was mid to late March that the CDC was telling us to wear 2 masks, right? When the pandemic first popped off, Fauci said you didn't even have to wear a mask. I mean, the CDC's reputation here for being in front of the COVID-19 pandemic is not impressive. It is sketchy at best. And I necessarily am not a conspiracy theorist, but given the evidence in front of us, you know what I mean? You can only kind of come to one conclusion that these niggas don't halfway know what the fuck they talking about. I mean, that's the conclusion I come to, right? And I'm believing the vaccination, bitch. I'm getting my second dose Sunday. I'm Pfizered out this bitch. So I don't want to catch the COVID. That's why I got the vaccination. I want to go to concerts and shit. That's why I got the vaccination. But at the same time, even after I am fully vaccinated, I'm still absolutely going to wear a mask when I'm out here indoors or around other people. Because, hold on, let's go to Dr. Fauci, because this man was talking a little crazy last night on Jake Tapper. And please, family, be assured, I was not fucking watching Jake Tapper on CNN. I saw this clip come up on my social media and I said, oh, Dr. Fauci. I kind of had some confidence in Dr. Fauci, but what he said on Jake Tapper last night, I was less than impressed. Tunde, brother, if we could hold on, I don't know what number it is, but I believe it's A4. If we could please take a look at the head of the he's not the head of the CDC, the Infectious Diseases Center, Dr. Fauci, the head of this joint, and he appeared on Jake Tapper, whatever the fuck Jake Tapper show is called on CNN. Tunde, let's check that out.
So more than 40% of adults, we should note, still are not fully vaccinated. Some are partially, but not fully. There's no real way right now to track who's vaccinated, who isn't vaccinated. There's a lot of resistance to any sort of vaccine passport, but how are restaurants, airlines, others supposed to know if the people coming to their establishments or their vehicles without masks really have the right to not we all have a right to do whatever we want, but really have the CDC guidance supporting their not wearing masks?
Well, Jake, they will not be able to know. I mean, you're going to be depending on people being honest enough to say whether they were vaccinated or not, and responsible enough to be wearing a mask, not only for their own protection, but also for the protection of others. And by the way, even though we will not be, and what we've said this many times, Jake, we will not be mandating vaccine passports from the federal level, there are going to be institutions clearly that are going to be saying, and that could be airlines. We know certain colleges are also saying, if you're not vaccinated, you're not going to come on campus to classes in real time. And there are going to be some institutions that might be saying the same thing. So although the federal government wouldn't be mandating to have a passport proving you're vaccinated, there may be organizations that will do that.
Guys, are you guys comfortable with your fellow Americans being on the honor system to say that they are vaccinated when being in public spaces that would require them to be vaccinated? And I think that's such like a loaded thing, because how can you require anything of anybody, especially entitled ass Americans, right? These are the same people who showed up at state capitals across this country with the AK-47s and all the long guns, right? Because they didn't want to wear a mask, right? So this new announcement from the CDC, first of all, gives those people the green light. Like, they are carte blanche. They are saying, see, we told y'all masks weren't effective in the first damn place. Okay, cool. These are also the same people who are not going to get the vaccination. And also, interestingly enough, these are the same people who are likely going to try to forge vaccination credentials in order to gain entry into shit that they want to do, i.e. like cruises and shit, right? I know, like, that's prime cruise taking demographic right there. These niggas want to get on the cruise, right? They're going to fake them vaccination papers so they can go island hopping. You better believe that. But these are the same ones who want the death penalty for undocumented people if they create forged documents in order to work in this country. So we are in a tad bit of a little bit of a conundrum. First of all, thank you so much, Toby Swoley, or is it Swally? Thank you so much, Toby. And thank you, Black Magic. Thank you so much, y'all, for the support. You guys, thank you guys. Where do y'all stand on this? Because I don't think this is a good idea. I think that America is so immature, right? Our citizenry generally are so like ignorant and immature. Like, all you had to do is just give this country just the little smallest crack of daylight to get back to normal, and they're going to take it and run with it, right? My concern is, I just said it, like, I'm concerned that we are not going to achieve herd immunity through vaccinations, and as a result, COVID's going to mutate into like super COVID, and then it's going to be some shit that you can't, like, the vaccination could be rendered ineffective. I was on Justine Byrne, friend of the show, Justine Byrne, journalist Justine Byrne, Justine 3000 on Twitter. And Justine raised some very interesting questions. It's still not exactly clear whether or not vaccinated people can be asymptomatic carriers. What I saw, the recent shit that I saw, what's up, Tasia? Y'all with me? Thank y'all. What's up, Alicia? Look at all my people in here. Radical, leftist agenda. Look at all my folks. Big Teal up in this, yeah. Natalie's in this, yeah. Schultz 100 is in this, yeah. Yes, okay. Just had to, it warms my heart to see my folks up in here. So thank y'all very much for checking in. But the motherfuckers on TV said that, that vaccinated people, there's a low chance of them being asymptomatic carriers and shedding the virus and passing it along to unvaccinated people. And according to TV, they said, I say they, let me attribute it properly. It was the broad from the CDC First of all, thank you very much, Jean-Biev. Jean-Biev, y'all fact check me to remind me that Dr. Fauci is indeed the director of the U.S. National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases. Is that NIDA? Yeah, they do the drug test over at NIDA at the NIH. They was given. Or maybe that was Hopkins. Anyway, we just sidebar. Living in the DC area, they do all kinds of like random trials of drugs and shit. I was trying to get into the mushrooms trial up at Johns Hopkins. They didn't call me. I was pissed. the Slibonian, the Peaceabilin, y'all know what the fuck I'm trying to say. The magic mushrooms, they didn't call me. So fuck Hopkins. Anyway. Speaking about, wait. We already just heard from Dr. Fauci. Let's hear from y'all's president, Joe Biden. Again, the Biden administration seemed to be somewhat caught off guard by this announcement from the Center for Disease Control, which, doesn't exactly give me confidence that necessarily like the adults are in charge now, right? Like, we knew it was a clown car of the Trump administration, so that anything goes, you know what I mean? And you would hope, I think that was the hope, that the Biden folks would be a little bit more on top of their shit. But this does not appear to me as though they are on top of their shit necessarily. So, Tunde, if we could, please, let's take a look at what President Biden had to say about this new announcement, new guideline.
Just a few hours ago, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention and the CDC announced that they are no longer recommending that fully vaccinated people need wear masks. This recommendation holds true whether you are inside or outside. I think it's a great milestone, a great day. It's been made possible by the extraordinary success we've had in vaccinating so many Americans so quickly. The CDC is saying they have concluded that fully vaccinated people are at a very, very low risk of getting COVID-19. But if you've not been vaccinated, or if you're getting a 2-shot vaccine and you've not gotten you only had your first shot, but not your second, or you haven't waited the full 2 weeks after your second shot, you still need to wear a mask. Look, we've gotten this far. Please protect yourself.
Just the hubris in all of this, everybody. The pandemic is not over. We do not fully understand all of the ways COVID-19 impacts people, both short-term and long-term. We don't know necessarily how COVID-19 fully impacts children. We know that children are susceptible to that unique inflammatory disease that I did see a couple adults had contracted it. And unfortunately, the name of it escapes me right now, but it fucks kids up, right? And we don't know how, even if you contracted COVID and either you were asymptomatic or had very mild symptoms, like we don't know whether or not that's going to present itself in some way later in life. And COVID is, to say it's deadly is almost an understatement, because it fucks with everything important, right? Your lungs, your heart, your brain, like people's kidneys were shutting down, your cognition is affected. Like, this is not the flu. Like, this is something that is still very much unknown and unpredictable. And for the United States, both our government, our political leaders, the business community, we talked about this on Tuesday, y'all. I mean, everyone's like, what's the big deal? We got a vaccination, pandemic over. No. Mm-mm. And I'm not an alarmist. Like, I'm not one of those people who are determined to be cooped up in the house like forever. You know what I mean? That's why I'm getting vaccinated, right? But I don't have confidence in our government. Like, they have not demonstrated high levels of competency and the ability to respond to things quickly. Capitalism has been dictating pretty much the whole of the American response throughout this entire pandemic. Just think of all the people, hundreds of thousands of people who died because America and capitalism placed its profits above our people. And it's no coincidence that Jeff Bezos and Amazon, that the Waltons and Walmart, that all these grocery store chains, like motherfuckers came up in COVID-19, y'all. People's personal wealth, these billionaires, Bezos specifically, shot up in the billions, by billions. And 600,000 people died in the US. So there's absolutely a correlation to that. What's up, everybody? Hold on. I wasn't even looking in the joint. What's up, Pimp C? I see Courtney, the SLP, is in the building. What's up, Afraid Not, in the building? Love to see y'all in the building. Hey, and because I'm seeing y'all in the building, y'all niggas better keep your mask on, okay? We are not playing Future out here. It is not mask off. Don't trust it. Can't trust it. Don't do it, okay? You gotta play it. You gotta play it smart, y'all. Play it smart like it was still 2020. You know, seriously, because there's going to be people out here doing a whole bunch of lying about their vaccination status, okay? There's going to be people out here whole ass forging documents and lying to all of our faces about whether or not they have been vaccinated so they can party, right? So they can get their party on. And what about vaccine efficacy? What about the duration of the vaccine efficacy? Like, I mean, nobody has come out. What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? What's up? What's up? Nobody has. Well, I think Moderna actually did say that you're going to have to get a booster. Do I have that right? Did you get the Moderna? Not to put your business out there. I'm sorry. But what did they tell you? I mean, I got
the Pfizer.
Oh, you got the Pfizer. Okay, you Pfizer like me.
Good.
What's up? What's up, King Camaricho? Stop wearing masks when they are still not sure if we need a third shot. Right. Booster. Right. Here we go. Right. No, nigga, we are not stopping wearing the masks. This is the point. And I'm so very glad to see that. King Kamashiro. King Kamashiro says, stop wearing masks when they're still not sure if we need a third shot booster. I feel like the government is hurting our mask fuck up facial recognition. But valid. So bad. Oh, wait. I just remembered. Hold on. Damn it. What time is it? Fuck. I meant to do this at the top of the show. It's 5:24. This still might work. Hold on. I'm going to get to King Kemarishiro's point momentarily because that's valid as fuck. And we coming back to that. But solo such day, I do not have company, right? So what do we do when we don't have company? Well, we get high. we get high and we talk about the news. Initially angrily, but after we get high, we are sorry for yelling. Right? Okie dokie. So I have a gummy. And as you see, there's only 2 gummies left in here because I have been eating these gummies. I have been eating these gummies. And these gummies are good. They got the powdered sugar on the joints. Now, allegedly, these joints have been sitting in THC for like a month. And my person told me the dosage, but I forgot. But it's high. Well, it's supposed to be high. Let me get this gummy down. And it's Friday, Craig. Y'all ain't got to go to work tomorrow. I'm sorry. I totally forgot to tell y'all to bust out all your marijuana accoutrements. That's extremely important for this program on a Friday. On a Friday. Ha ha. See what I did there. Anyway, King Kamashiro, that is an excellent point that maybe, perhaps, the haste in the CDC making this announcement about fully vaccinated people don't have to wear masks indoor or outdoors. Maybe it's because the masks are fucking up the facial recognition. And gang, you know we are here for that. Another reason to please keep your mask on. So these surveillance ops, both public and private, can't track you as well. I mean, they got you with your phones. I mean, just, you know, that jig is over. FYI. I mean, not to say this is something I've ever considered, but if you go and do dirt, leave your phone in the house. Like, You just gonna have to wing it without your phone. Don't tell on yourself, digitally or otherwise. Hey, so Cristo, oh my goodness. But yes, thank you. Excellent point there from King Kamashiro. Yes, the facial recognition is absolutely being fucked up by the mask wearing. And I'm here for it because we know that facial recognition is more likely to fuck us up, right? There has been black and brown people who have been hemmed up with the facial recognition, didn't have shit to do with shit, right? They didn't have nothing to do with the crime that they were accused of doing. But the facial recognition, because it's programmed and created by white people who think, oh, brown and black people look alike. Yeah, the facial recognition tends to see us the same way. Fun fact, though, the facial recognition is what helped to get a lot of those Klansmen down from the January 6th insurrection, because they was down there plain-faced. I mean, like the criminal masterminds that they are. They went down there plain-faced to invade the U.S. Capitol. And because, like I just said, facial recognition programmed and created by white folks was able to pick out all them Bamas. So kudos. Rando Calrissian. Do I got the news, Rando Calrissian? Is that the news? The news is that we live in the dumbest country on the planet. News at 11. That's news at 5, 6, 10, and 11, y'all. Don't y'all get sick of being here? I do. And for all the racists who say to me, well, why don't you go to Africa? I say that's a fantastic idea. You should help out. Either help out or shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear no shit from no racists about nothing, goddammit, when I did not immigrate here. My great ancestors did not buy a ticket to come to America, okay? They did not book passage on the steamship. No. I don't want to hear shit about shit from y'all. I'm glad I took this gummy, to be quite honest, and I hope even if it kills my high, fuck it. It's all right. I feel like I got a little buffer now between myself and this very, very sad reality that we are seeing play out in real time happening in Palestine. The Palestinian people are under attack once again by the state of Israel. Of course, the atrocities are horrific. The amount of might being used is lopsided. And in American media, it's largely being framed as a both sides kinds of thing. And I can understand, first of all, I'm not saying that I expect everybody watching here to have a firm handle on the whys of why Israel is occupying Palestine. And I found some clips that I hope can help to illuminate parts about this that may not necessarily be clear. But what is 100% clear is that Palestinians do not have autonomy over the lands in which they live and the lands in which they have lived for thousands of years, long time, right? There's a clip that we're going to see, and I'm not sure if I'm going to play it first. Actually, I don't think we're going to play it first. But coming up, I'm going to play this clip that maybe you saw it on social media, maybe some of y'all didn't. But it's on the street interviews with Israelis discussing why it's important for Palestine and Palestinians to be killed. And it's so horrific and casual in its like abject cruelty and, you know, almost like amused stance about the genocide of the Palestinian people. It's like, whoo, y'all sound like colonizers for real, man. It sounds like white Americans circa, 150 to 200 years ago, talking about the Indian problem and this peculiar institution of slavery, right? Just very blatantly not seeing these other people as people, right? And they're not even other, motherfucker. They was there first, primero, right? Tunde, bro, if we could, let's do B1 first, okay? Just to give y'all an idea of what shit looks like on the ground in Gaza. I don't actually even know if this was specifically in Gaza, but this was posted by a Palestinian native person who shared this video. It got thousands of views. So today, if we could look at B1, please, and check that out.
طائرات الاف 16 طائرات الاف 16
Like, can y'all imagine just being out about in your respective city or town, and all of a sudden, motherfucking missile just fly by your face and just destroy what's there? Like where are you going? You know what I mean? It's so heartbreaking. Like, I have to tell y'all, like, again, what's happening in Palestine is almost more painful than what has happened to Black people in America. Like, because this is happening in front of us. You understand? Like, this isn't some pie in the sky. Like, motherfuckers act like they didn't know about the Holocaust. No. This is happening right now. Tunde, can we please take a look at the TikToker? This TikTok video was posted by a TikTok user by the name of the Arab Cage. And it's a young Palestinian woman. And she even talks briefly about what you can do to help Palestinians at this point. But she does a very, as talented TikTokers seem to do, wrap up complex issues very succinctly. Tunde, can we please take a look at the Arab Cage, please?
You want to help Palestinians, that's great. Let me give you some more information regarding the topic, because this topic is often misinterpreted in media, as well as ways you can actually help Palestinians. The ethnic cleansing, genocide, the settlers, people being kicked out of their home, people being bombed and murdered every single day, it's been going on actually for decades. The fact that some of you guys don't even know this shows exactly how the media is hiding it. The reason the media is hiding it is because Israel has a very strong foothold in the world, especially in the US. The US actually gives them billions of dollars per year, so your taxpayer money is going into the genocide and ethnic cleansing, as well as other companies in America that actually support Israel's army as well. Reminder that Palestinians aren't just Muslim, they're Jewish, Christian, and Muslim Palestinians in Palestine. This is not a religious issue, this is a political and humanitarian one. The best way you can actually help Palestinians is by donating, spreading awareness, but the best way you can help is actually contacting Congress. If you click on the first link in my bio, that first link right there is a petition by the representative in Congress, as well as other ways you can contact your government to force change. That, protesting, and boycotting.
Boycott, divest, sanction, right? That's a whole nother show topic, right? The way the BDS movement has been attacked and maligned by the highest in politics in this country. I believe even Joe Biden. Didn't Joe Biden shit on BDS? But first of all, thank you very much to that young lady for, again, cramming in a lot of information in a very brief time. And one thing that she said that sort of jumped out, it absolutely jumped out, that please understand this. This is not a religious conflict, okay? Palestinians are not a monolith. They are not all Muslim, right? Christian and Jew are what Palestinians are. But what they are is a people caught up in an apartheid system. My mother asked me, what she didn't understand. And I said, Mom, just think about South Africa, right? It's so heavy. Tasia, thank you very much, sweetheart. I appreciate that. What's DKK? Are y'all sending me Danish kroner again? I'm just fucking with you. Thank you so much, David. So very kind. Peter Low Frequency, thank you very much. Peter Low Frequency says, got on the NPR website yesterday to submit a correction in regards to their reporting on Israel-Palestine, falsely framing it as a war of equal powers. No shit, right? Peter Low Frequency, thank you very much for even wanting to check NPR on that shit, because again, like, American media is so very fucking lazy when it comes to this. Or as the young lady pointed out, you know, Israel has a very strong hold on like the American political and media psyche. Like Israel gets its narrative off and across very successfully in America. It's fucking crazy to see. And whew. The reason I'm sorry, I'm trying to process. Maybe this fucking gummy is starting to hit me because I'm not supposed to feel anxious, but I'm feeling anxious like about even talking about Palestine because it's so fucked up. It's so fucked up. Tunde, can you please queue up? Thank you, HFK Rex. It is you who is sending Danish kroner. Thank you. Danish kroner sounds like a pastry that I have not tried, but I would like to try one. Have you ever had a cherry Danish kroner? No, I haven't. It sounds delicious. Tunde, can we please? It's so gross. Let me preface this. This is almost like a trigger warning. What's up, Northern Witch? Thank you, guys. Hold on. I'm trying to shout y'all out for y'all dropping us some change. Call your senators, yes, and your congresspeople, if you're able, everyone, and tell them that we don't want one more dollar to go to fucking Israel. Y'all, oh my God. The amount of money that the United States sends to Israel annually will absolutely turn your stomach. Because number one, Israel is not a poor country. Israel is not a defenseless country. Israel, if the stat that I heard was correct, has the fourth largest military in the world. Is that right? I'm assuming behind the United States, Russia, China. Is Israel 4? Genevieve, can you do some Googles for me? Just to I don't want to be wrong about that. But they absolutely top 10 out this bitch, right? They might be top 5. That's what I'm saying. I'm right with that number 4, fourth biggest military until Genevieve corrects me. But Israel is also a nuclear power. Now, why do first of all, anyway, it makes me so mad. There's only a handful of nations who are allowed to be nuclear powers in the world, and Israel is not one of them. But yet I don't see niggas freaking out about Israel's nuclear program, right? The way that they do over Iran and North Korea. Like everyone in the world, the United, the global powers don't seem to have an issue, I would suppose, at least the NATO allied global powers. But yep, Israel's allowed to do a lot of shit, and Israel is perfectly capable of obliterating Palestine. And Palestine is not a nuclear power. Palestine does not have fighter jets. These Bamas are firing off rockets, like steroided up fireworks. You feel me? Ugh. But I want you guys, as opposed to what Liu Kang says, Palestine has a national security force estimated in the thousands. No nukes, no stealth bombers, right? So a few thousand, right? You're talking about like fighters, the Hamas, right? These Bamas keep fucking trying to scare you like Hamas is the dangerous Bamas. Meanwhile, I can recall during the administration of George W. Bush, I think it was a Hamas-backed government in Lebanon got elected, and W. Bush had nothing but favorable things to say about that. I remember thinking that how I thought that was a little bit odd. But anywho, I digress. But what we're about to see here is a clip that has been making its rounds on Twitter. And unfortunately, I can't tell you exactly. This is what I hate viral videos sometimes because sometimes they can be hard to trace. And while I was able to find the original poster of this, this video, it did not necessarily say the date, like when this video was taken, but I guess the date may be irrelevant because the sentiments and the feelings and the thoughts and the ideas behind these Israeli citizens who were interviewed on the street, are probably quite applicable today. Tunde, it's the clip where it says that, it says, listen to these Israeli casually say that they should carpet bomb and kill Arabs. These are fascists who support genocide, apartheid, and terrorism. Hashtag free Palestine. And it was Proud Socialist who embedded this video in their tweet, but it's credited to an account called @fitness_Red Star. Tunde, I'm sorry, I got to give y'all a trigger warning because this shit is so fucking cold and cruel and callous and ghoulish and devoid of any empathy. I mean, I got to give y'all like a heads up about what you're about to hear. Like the words, the sentiments behind it are violent. There's no actual graphic violence in this clip. But the words are nothing but violent. So, Tunde, if we could please take a look at this.
I think Israelis have to take over and they have to kick them away. It will be much better not to kill them, just to go back to Arab countries.
But it's really rightfully ours if you look at the history and at like the wars, and we didn't even start a lot of the wars. We conquered these places rightfully, like it's ours.
1,400 years later, we come back. Now, I'm not saying that we can blame the people living here for what happened, but you gotta accept that that's some kind of divine justice, that their great-great-great-great-grandfathers kicked my great-great-great-grandfather out of here, and then we come back, and all of a sudden they're like, well, no, we don't want it, it's not fair.
I think that the Jews came here, they took this land, and this is our land now, and I don't think there should be no Arabs. Like Arabs, they won, we gave them Gaza, they should go live there quietly. If they want, they should go back to Iraq, I don't know, to wherever they want.
I'm think that we need to... איך אומרים להעיף את הערבים? כן, תגידי לי את המילה הזאת.
I don't think there's any answer to it. Really? There's only one way to, like, I would carpet bomb them.
You would carpet bomb them?
It's the only way you could deal with it. Like, or try to stop them a different way. It never worked.
I think that we're miserable. The Arabs make a פיגועים and we need to kill Arabs.
I think another thing that the Jews should have rights to hate them. I think we have the right to hate them. I don't see a reason why not. I wouldn't trust any of them.
אין מצב שיהיה פה שלום בארץ, אי אפשר לעשות איתם שלום, הם תמיד שונאים אותנו. אם אי אפשר לעשות שלום והמצב ככה לא יכול להישאר, אז צריך לטפל בהם בדרכים אחרות, אין מה לעשות.
I think we should give them a country. If you're doing any problem, you just go in there to give them a country, and then it's going to be a war between countries, you know? If they're going to throw rockets, we're going to throw one big one and done.
Yes, y'all. Just marinate on that. Marinate on that for a second. That is some of the cruelest, just very casual, and again, but not unfamiliar. Sounds very reminiscent of Manifest Destiny, you know? There was a lot of American imperialism, the sentiment there. Not, you know, obviously those are Israelis, but the sentiment of the colonizer, very strong there on the streets of Israel. And thank you, Molly. Molly is letting me know that video is Abby Martin's video from the Empire Files. So let me credit them properly. But hold on, let me get back to the chat. What did y'all think about that? Because that shit made my fucking skin crawl. And just like the Palestinian young lady said in her TikTok video, this is not a religious war. And proof positive by that is, you know, by the way that Israel, I mean, the way that they are just bombing the shit out of children and mosques and fucking apartment buildings in Palestine is abhorrent. But the way that Israel treats like black Jewish people, like African Jews, I mean, trying to like sterilize. I mean, it's fucking nuts. So don't save it with this. This is a war of Muslim versus Jew. No, this is not that. This is colonizers trying to colonize, period, point blank. This is absolutely no different than the United States repeatedly signing treaty after treaty with indigenous sovereign nations, and yet sending the army and military forces to forcibly either remove or destroy outright indigenous people. And the Biden administration can just, what do they do? What's Joe Biden doing? Shrugging. And they keep saying this line that drives me absolutely up the fucking wall, is that Israel has a right to defend itself. Let me explore Israel has a right to defend itself real quick. And let me tell y'all a story that I think in a micro sort of way, tiny way, talks about that. Hold on. Y'all sending us money. Talisha. Thank you, Talisha Conklin. Oh, shoot, I'm late. I'm going to have to watch the playback. I just got off work. Hey, Kim. Hey, Burners. Hello, Talisha. Thank you so much. And Northern Witch. Thank you, Northern Witch. I shouted you out, Northern Witch, but I shouted you out 2 times, Northern Witch. Northern Witch. We appreciate the support. Guys, so I'm not sure if you heard about the story. I'm coming back to Israel in a second. And I'm gonna tie this shit together. Watch me. Okay. Israel has a right to defend itself, says the Biden administration over and over again, ad nauseum. In Tampa, Florida, recently, have you heard this story? A young black man, his last name was Pujols. I can't recall his first name. 27 years old, working at the Dunkin' Donuts in Tampa, Florida. He is, I believe, working the drive-thru or working at the Dunkin' Donuts in some capacity. An unruly customer comes through the drive-thru, very unhappy with their level of service. This customer, I believe, even though they didn't disclose the race, they didn't actually say the race. Tampa Bay Times, I think, reported on this. Lots of places report on this. Anyway, 77-year-old customer assumed to be white, allegedly calls this young man working at Dunkin' Donuts, this young black man, Pujols. So I'm assuming he's maybe Dominican, black, Afro-Latino. Calls him the N-word. I'm assuming. They said racial slur. They didn't exactly say which racial slur, but I've known white people to get knocked out behind nigga. I have not known white people to get knocked out behind like Sambo or like Porch Monkey. It's usually you got to come with the hammer in order to get the immediate violent response, right? So allegedly, according to reports, this 77-year-old man uses this racial slur, right? At the drive-thru, or he's so dissatisfied with his level of service at the drive-thru, he parks his car and goes inside to Dunkin' Donuts to further express his dissatisfaction, right? He calls the young man a racial slur. Let's assume it to be the N-word. The young man says, say it again. He said it again. The young man, I believe, punched him once. The old man fell back, hit his head. The old man was in a coma for a couple of weeks, and recently the old man just died. How does that tie into Israel has a right to defend itself? Well, like that old man, Israel went and started some shit that they didn't have no business starting. Wasn't nobody fucking with Israel. Wasn't nobody fucking with that old man. That old man could have took his caramel macchiato and went the fuck home. But what did he do? He wanted to start some shit. Now, unfortunately, Palestine is not young Mr. Pujols in this scenario. But the point is that certain people go around provoking certain things and then get very upset when said provocation results in a violent reaction or a violent response, right? And guys, people are standing with Palestine not only across the country. I hope you've been tuned in to hashtag Free Palestine on social media. Oh my gosh, did you all see the protest gathering in New York? Like, they came out for Palestine in a big way, and people have been coming out across the country and across the world. But there is a montage of events that I would like to show you all that range from events happening in Ireland to South Africa to Chicago. So hold on. Let me pull this up real quick because I want to make sure that I'm about to say all the right things. Okay. Is that it? Nope. Yes, it is it. Okay. Tunde, if we could, if we could do the before montage. So let me set this up so we're all on the same page. Everybody knows what we're about to see. First thing we're about to see is like a hypercut of this Irish politician. The Irish politician name is Richard Boyd Barrett. They are an MP with the Takeda Dada. I can't read Celtic. My Irish pronunciations are quite bad. However, this politician, Mr. Barrett had the Irish ambassador the Israeli ambassador to Ireland in front of him. And when I say he dragged this nigga for filth, he read his ass up and down. So that's the first thing. Is that the first thing we're going to see? Yes, that's the first thing we're going to see. So we're going to see this Irish politician just drag the hell, collect, if you will, gather, if you will, the Israeli ambassador to Ireland. Right after that, you're going to see a really brief clips of 10,000 or more turned out in Chicago for Free Palestine. I mean, enormous crowd out there in Chicago. And then right after, was there another one after that? Yes. And right after that, you're going to see the beautiful black face of Nelson Mandela's grandson. And you'll know it's Nelson Mandela's grandson because he looks just like his granddaddy. But echoing the sentiments of his grandfather, who understood that the apartheid struggle of South Africans is directly tied to the apartheid struggle of Palestinians. And Nelson Mandela said as much. And his grandson echoes those sentiments in the clip that we're about to see. So again, first thing we're about to see is the Irish MP drag the Israeli ambassador, followed by scenes of thousands from Chicago for Free Palestine. And lastly, we'll see Nelson Mandela's grandson in the streets in South Africa advocating to free Palestine. Tunde, if we please could take a look at that.
Frankly, I'm one of the people who thinks you should be expelled from this country, and I believe that it's to do with the policies of your state. If I was Jewish and had never stepped foot in Israel, I could claim citizenship there tomorrow. But 6 million people whose origins are in what you now call Israel, who were forced out in 1947 or 48, do not have that right. Isn't that part of the reason why the Palestinians are in dispute with Israelis? Because you deny them the right to return to their homes and to their land and to their villages, and that they have a legitimate claim, even under international law, to return, but you deny them that right. Why do you deny them that right? And why do you give that right to other people who have no connection whatsoever with the land, whether you call it Israel or whether you call it Palestine? Why do you continue to seize land if you're serious about Oslo and the two-state solution, which under that agreement is land designated to be Palestinian land? 500,000 people, most of which has taken place since Oslo. You allow that to happen. Why do you allow it to happen? If you're serious about giving this land to the Palestinians, it's absolutely extraordinary. Are you not just taking us, Ambassador, for idiots? That you can say with a straight face, we're serious about peace, but while we're serious about peace, we're going to seize Palestinian land. And you expect the Palestinians to just sit back and do nothing about that. Now, you know what the Palestinian people have been asking for. Far less even than some people would ask for. because I believe the whole apartheid system should be dismantled. But what they've asked for is to lift the siege of Gaza. Just to lift the siege of Gaza. Let them have an airport. Let them have ports. Let them not be dictated to by a government for whom they do not vote as to what can go in and out of their territories, whether they will have power, whether they will have clean water, whether they will have medicine. What makes you think you're allowed to have nuclear weapons and the fourth biggest army in the world and visit destruction on the people of Gaza, but they have no right to defend themselves? They have no territorial sovereignty over that land.
Could you ask questions, please?
How do you justify that?
Yeah. All right.
How do you justify those double standards? Very lastly, Ambassador, people like Bishop Tutu, Nelson Mandela, and I would certainly describe your state as a apartheid state with different laws for people depending on their race or religion. For example, a checkpoint.
Will not rest until we see a free Palestine in our lifetime, and we will speak against the brutality that is meted out against innocent children and women in Palestine. And that is why we are here united as a family today to charge forward with what Madiba once said, that our freedom is incomplete until the Palestinians are free.
Incredible scenes there, everybody from really across the globe. As we just saw, Nelson Mandela's grandson letting it be known, like, and that might have been shots fired at Joe Biden. You know, your boy, y'all's boy, Joe Biden, during the presidential campaign, lied and said that he had been arrested as a part of an apartheid protest. Nigga, what? Come on, you even like black people. Stop. Come on, we know you only like Africans. You don't like full Africans. You only like, members like Barack Obama. Stop it, Joe Biden. But that could be a direct shot at Joe Biden. Shout out to Nelson Mandela's grandson for that. Because if you, Joe Biden, for example, saw the inequities and the horrific treatment of African people in their own continent, in their own country, in their own homelands, by white colonizers. If he could see the injustice in that, then how the fuck can he see the injustice in the Israeli occupation of Palestine? It's the same thing. It's maybe worse, actually. I don't know if who was the last Bama of South Africa? De Klerk? Was that was one of them colonizers in chief? De Klerk? I don't know if De Klerk ever flew fighter jets over the slums. I don't think that happened to that extent. It was brutalization of South Africans in many, many, many ways. But what we are seeing is this militarized, like no holds bar strikes against Palestine. And if you don't look at it as a genocide, it is absolutely that. Like there's no other way to call it but that. Oh yes, I see y'all sharing some of Joe Biden's greatest hits in the chat. Maybe I shouldn't have took this gummy. Now I'm sad. It's so bad. It is so bad. And please, try to seek out places of support for Palestine in any way that you can. Matter of fact, I'm so very appreciative of any donations. You guys know, thank you so much for the super chats and thank you so much for being patrons. At the same time, man, the Palestinian people need it. So please try to find, and I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna put my money where my mouth is too. And trying to support materially, really in any way that we can offer the Palestinian people, because it's pretty clear now, how something like the Holocaust actually took place, right? People were very aware of what was happening. People knew it was happening, was being reported upon, and the world just sat by and watched. Man, I wish Molly could actually jump on with us, because Molly told me that there's an odd dynamic about how this is being received in Germany, regarding like the Germans are like 100% behind the Jews, but it's because of some like Holocaust guilt, justifiably so. Meanwhile, the Israelis are acting like the Nazis, like in Palestine. Like, what the fuck is happening? Like, I thought y'all was the oppressed people, and then here y'all come being the oppressors and assuming that oppressor's mantle, like it was meant for you, baby. Like that shoe fit just way too easily for some of the Israelites. And again, don't even. Stop it right there. If anybody trying to talk any shit about any anti-Semitism, this is not a religious issue, okay? Because there are plenty of Jewish people on American soil who are absolutely horrified at what Israel is doing. And actually the Jewish people around the world who are horrified. There was a clip that I saw that I did not include, but it was very compelling. For example, it was, I believe, at least again, sometimes I don't include clips that I see if I'm not able to properly attribute them. If I can't tell you like where it came from or where it was, the journalist in me, the trained journalist in me is like, I don't know enough about this. But some shit I just be like, fuck it. But I'll just tell y'all that I can't attribute it or I can't source it all the way. So at least I'm trying to be honest and transparent. I'm not just playing shit and be like, oh, see, you know, we don't go like that. That's corny. That's corny. There's no need. But anyway, this clip that I saw reportedly was shot in Malaysia. And it was someone interviewing, they appeared to be Hasidic Jews. You know what I'm saying? They had curly hairs and the yarmulke and all the black suit and everything. And the gentleman said, like, he seemed to have like a Yiddish or Hebrew accent. And he was saying how horrified he was personally by what Israel and the Zionists are doing, the word that he used specifically. So the fact that this shit is able to fly with American politicians just steadfastly standing by Israel no matter what, it just goes to show you what kind of ghastly, macabre country we live in. We are run by ghouls, people who are so comfortable with mass death, it's sickening. Our elected officials who lack compassion for people who are not basically white and Christian. You know what I mean? Ugh, I hate it here. What's up, all 87 of y'all? Thank y'all so much for tuning in. You're now rocking with the best. And I'm not as high as I like to be. maybe that last story sort of dulled the THC. And maybe it was not a good idea to do that. Anyway, but at least I'm still flowing, right? All right. The last topic I'd like us to get to, guys, has to do with a little bit of censorship. And not a little bit of censorship, but a lot bit of censorship. And how said censorship has affected this here channel. Now, and not only this here channel, but friends of this channel, comrades of this channel. Where should I start? Let's start with Chuck. Tunde, if you could please, can you pop up a screenshot of Chuck Modiano's Twitter account? You guys know independent and street journalist Chuck Modiano. He's been on this program several times. Chuck is quite frankly outstanding at what he does. And Chuck has been bringing us scenes of protest from justice for George Floyd and even justice protests for people very much here on a local level here in DC. I'm thinking about justice for Karan Brown. Chuck has been there. Chuck has been at jail support. Chuck has been at Free Haiti rallies. Chuck has been covering Free Palestine. And because Chuck Modiano has been so brilliantly, I'm not going to say outspoken, but no, I hate that fucking word. Because Chuck Modiano speaks the goddamn truth, okay? And despite the fact that I know that Chuck actually took a lot of precautions to make sure that he didn't end up on exactly this side of the street when it comes to Twitter. But nonetheless, everybody noticed it, started noticing it yesterday. Chuck Modiano's Twitter account has been suspended. Okay, 55,000-ish followers and his account suspended. Just hours of outstanding, brilliant work documenting movement for Black lives, but also the white supremacists gatherings, because there was multiples of those that happened here in the nation's capital. Chuck has been there. But he is also, again, as you see in his bio, Chuck has written for the New York Daily News, Deadspin. You know, Chuck, if you follow his tweets anyway, you know how very much into sports and social justice as it pertains to sports, but his street journalism is pretty much unmatched. And Chuck has had his account suspended. Now, what I realized was, and thank you all so much. Who just said something real nice? JL, thank you, dear. I'm sorry, what'd you say, Tunde? Move to the right, sorry. Move more? Okay. Thank you, JL, for your support. Very much appreciated. So, first of all, you guys know, go back and look at some of our videos. Chuck has been here, and Chuck, again, is just, he and Sean Michael Love of Black House News have done just stellar street journalism since I've been following their work. And for Chuck to have his account suspended is a slap in the face to journalists, period, point blank. I know for a fact, I don't know for a fact, but I know that Chuck didn't tweet nothing crazy like hang Mike Pence, right? I know Chuck wasn't out there calling for the assassination of any Congress people. And much like what happened to the Hood Communist blog, there has seemingly, at least Chuck has not shared with us any reason that Twitter gave him for suspending his account. Also, Sean Michael Love from Black House News told me that Chuck has also been very outspoken about Palestine. And because of Israel's outsized grip on the minds of most Americans, any criticism against Israel is interpreted as anti-Semitic, which is fucking bullshit. So I asked Sean, I said, what can we do to help Chuck, right? And he told me to just keep boosting and keep supporting. So I'm telling y'all to tell a friend, man, restore Chuck Modiano's Twitter account, restore all his videos, restore all his shit, restore all his tweets. Chuck is a voice that we need out here, okay? Like, we need white people that get it. And more importantly, we need white people who are willing to take risks. And admittedly, and Chuck has even said this, when covering protest events in DC, he understands that he has more privilege and more protection than Sean, right? From Black House News, just for the simple fact that Chuck is a white man. And Chuck will put his privilege out there on the line for his comrades. And Chuck hopefully he will have a big presence on Twitter, and he has amplified my show, right? You know, we little out here. We're going to be big one day, but we ain't big right now, right? And Chuck has used his very big platform in a very generous way to amplify our content. So we are sending love and we are sending solidarity to Chuck Modiano and telling Twitter to get its fucking shit together, man. Put Chuck's shit back up there today. But when I realized that Chuck's account was suspended, I also realized something else. I don't have contacts for Chuck beyond Twitter, right? And I realized that is really the case with a lot of folks, right? I'm able to stay in communication with them via direct message, but especially during the pandemic, people that, you know, making connections with, you know, they weren't necessarily meeting up. And because, you know, I was scared of COVID and shit, I didn't hit no protests this year. And I'm okay with that for the simple fact, for reasons, but I've been to lots of protests. So I was okay sending 2020 out because There's a pandemic. And maybe that's not a good excuse for some of y'all, but I don't care. So I'm like, fuck, I can't even like reach out to Chuck and say what's up. So I reached out to Sean and said, hey, if you're in contact with Chuck, you know, tell him to put the bat signal up. If he needs me to do something, like, I can be activated to do it. But that reminded me of a piece written by friend of the show, Lisa Snowden McCrae, that was on The Real News Now. Y'all know how I feel about The Real News. But I am the biggest fan of Lisa Snowden McCrae. Tune if you could pop up Lisa's piece, please. Lisa wrote about hood communists. And its Twitter ban shows why offline organizing is so important. And throughout this piece, she talks about the perspective, she shares the perspective of Erica Ryan, who's one of the hood communist collective members. And one thing that jumped out at me about this piece is, for one, just to refresh, Hood Communist Blog was suspended off Twitter for no apparent reason, according to them. They had roughly 30,000 or so followers on the account. They would tweet out just wonderful critiques and analysis about theory and about, you know, communism and Marxism and Toryism. And we had brother Ajamu Umi from the All African People's Republican, Revolutionary Party, not Republican Party, my bad. The All African People's Revolutionary Party joined us on an episode, and he also was a contributor for Hood Communist. And I'm gonna get that in a second, because that ties into this. But anyway, what Erica Ryan from Hood Communism said, let me read this from Lisa's piece. Erica says that online spaces like Twitter and Facebook can be convenient places to connect and spread information, but the bottom line is that because they are owned privately, they can go away at any time. Quote, this is not really an organizing model that we should be depending on. I think that the benefit of it is that it allowed us to boost the actual work we were doing, she said. We are each organizers in organizations of our own right. This was just the collective that came together because the space did not exist. We gotta build these connections and relationships like outside of these social media platforms, because these motherfuckers have made it perfectly clear that they will delete and suspend without notification, without justification, and then they don't really owe us an explanation, right? Because we on they shit. And how this connects to us here at the Burn Down with Kim Brown channel. Coincidentally enough, we are missing a video from our video lineup. And the video that we are missing is the episode that we had with brother Ajamu Umi, where he came and gave us the dopest lessons about organizing, about coming together, about how to overcome and survive this capitalist oppressive system that we all find ourselves in, and why it's important to be organized in order to accomplish our goals. That video is gone from our channel. Now, the reason that YouTube gave us why the video was gone was an alleged copyright infringement, which had to do with, this was around the time of the Texas ice storm, or the down south ice storm that crippled the South, right? And there was footage from a house fire that was unable to be extinguished because all the hydrants were frozen. And long story short, we are challenging this, okay? But to me, it was an odd strike for YouTube to lay against us of all videos, right? And given the fact that that video was months old, right? And the fact that it was probably one of the most radical videos that we've had up here. Coincidence that that video of all videos is gone? I don't think so. I don't think so. So what I'm saying is, y'all, Heads up, okay? Because leftists are under, attack may be some hyperbole there, but the censorship aspect of it is legit. It is real. And it's interesting enough that those in right-wing spaces, in the right sphere of social media, were allowed to just plan whole ass domestic terrorist incidents without being snatched. And it wasn't until they were able to successfully execute a domestic terrorist incident is when social media all of a sudden grew a conscience and started to understand that some of this shit should not be allowed to fly. But when you delete accounts like Hood Communists and when you delete accounts like Chuck Modiano's, you're doing a very false equivocation, right? Because what Chuck and Hood Communists are talking about in terms of inciting any kind of actual violence on the state or on, property is nothing. It's nil. It doesn't exist, right? Now, we might agree with some shit, but I can guarantee you Chuck Modiano was not on his Twitter account and telling people to go fucking throw Molotov cocktails. Get the whole fuck out of here. So, guys, that is giving me food for thought also, right? Like, we are here on the YouTubes. We are growing our audience slowly but surely. But we might need to be trying to, figure out what the exit looks like off of YouTube. Because if YouTube feel like snatching the rest of my shit down, what the fuck I'm gonna do? What I'm gonna do? Go to the website, right? Well, we have a website, but there's no point in sending you there because it's just going to redirect you to the channel. So, we are working on things, y'all. We are not experts necessarily in this sphere, but as many a black pastor has got up in church and said, it was amateurs who built the ark. It was experts who built the Titanic. Okay, we are going to make this thing do what it do. But please, 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 if you're able to on your social media accounts, especially if you're on Twitter, please boost what's happening to Chuck. Please implore Twitter and Twitter support to reinstate Chuck's account and Hood Communist blog account, really. And I would say y'all tell YouTube to put my video back up, but no, YouTube being a whole hoe on the situation. So that's going to take, a little bit more reading. let me just put it that way. Anyway, I hope you all have been inspired by today's blower episode of Burn It Down with Kim Brown. I would have liked to have gotten more of these jokes off, but unfortunately, ain't a whole lot to joke about. It's all bad. It's all bad. And for one, hold on. HF Rex. Hey, listen. Never mind. I can't go to Denmark. Shit. I'm just a friendly reminder to all of our international viewers that, hey, you've got some American cousins out here that would like to very much get the fuck out of Dodge. So if you live in a nation that has a friendly immigration program for Americans, Black Americans, and you are not in Canada or Europe, because no. I am quite accustomed to American racism. I am not interested in European racism. I'm not interested in Canadian racism. I need to be someplace where the faces are brown and black like mine, majority. And hopefully the anti-blackness is not too tough, right? Please, and our international viewers, just keep your American comrades in mind. We are not all insane. I know the country looks crazy as shit from the outside, and trust me, from the inside, it is indeed crazy as shit. But all of us are not crazy. All of us know that America is not the greatest thing on earth. all of us know the opposite, actually, that many of the world's ills is caused by our nation that we reside, and we are not happy about it. So please, when you're at the cafe sipping coffee, espresso, and you're talking about how wild the shit America is, just remember this show. Remember that there are some sane ones out here. Anyway, guys, Ghana. Who said Ghana? Ursula. Come on, Ursula. Yes, they said Ghana. They said Ghana's welcoming us back home, like Rick James. Like, oh, come on home, Black Americans. Come on home. We got a place for you. Yeah, man, I got to check out the real estate situation in Ghana. The hardest thing I would have about relocating outside of the United States would be convincing my mother. I don't know if my mama's down to go to Africa permanently. Mama might get left. If she wants to see America out to the end, I wish her luck. Y'all know I'm not leaving my mama, but I'm going to plan to exit out this fucking country. You know why? Because I will not be an old woman in this country. I won't. I won't do it. Nope. So I figure I got about a good 20, 25 years to figure out my exit strategy. Because by the time I reach retirement age, I can't be here. I cannot be here. I'm sorry. Susie I, you're so wonderful. Susie I says, Rockfin, Panquake, Graham Elwood, political vigilante, and Whitney Webb. Hangouts got the scoop on where to go. When taken down by CIA tube. Okay, y'all keep telling me about some Rockfin now. We may have to make that legit move. W. White, keep this going. Please support the show, y'all. Thank you. That's not Ill Will. That's not my man Ill Willie. Willie. What's up, Willie? If that is Willie. Thank you all very much for your support. Anyway, yes. Anyway, y'all, 20 years we going to Ghana. Pack your shit, okay? Then start to get your affairs in order, because we got to get the fuck up out of here. We cannot give our entire lives to America. No, we will not. We will not. Anyway, guys, please have a good weekend. We will see y'all back here on Tuesday. We got some cool shit, I hope, coming up for y'all next week. I can't tell you what it is, because I don't want to be a liar if the shit don't go through. But anyway, stay tuned. I appreciate you guys even tuning in on days where it's just me and we get high together and we fucking, throw tomatoes and shit at our politicians virtually online, and we amplify and check out the movements and the protests and the actions that our like-minded brethren and sisters are out here organizing across this country and worldwide. This is why I like hanging out with y'all, because y'all fucking get it, and y'all are dope for that. So please, y'all, enjoy your weekend. COVID is still out here jumping on people. I don't give a fuck what the CDC is telling y'all, okay? Please wear your mask. Wash your hands. Social distance. Don't believe the hype. These motherfuckers was telling us 2 months ago to wear 2 masks. It was telling us 14 months ago not to wear a mask. So listen, protect you, protect yours. Get vaccinated, God damn it, for all y'all holdouts. Please, I don't want COVID to kill you. It's still out here killing people. I don't give a fuck what Dr. Fauci or what the CDC got to say. Please, just be careful. Just be careful as much as you can. Love you all so much. Special thanks to everyone that works on the show. Tunde, Jean-Pierre, and Monday. We do this for y'all. Don't forget, y'all, follow us on everywhere. If you are not currently subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Hit them likes up, and follow us on Twitter at Burn It Down KB. Find us on Facebook, Burn It Down with Kim Brown, and Patreon. If you want to support this program, you can do so at the very low introductory tier at $2 a month. That is at patreon.com/BIDWKB. BIDWKB is also how you can support us on CashApp and Venmo and PayPal also. Woo! Thank you guys so much for all your support. You guys fucking rock. I will see y'all on Tuesday. Oh, I'm getting my second dose on Sunday. So I'm planning on being laid the fuck out on Monday. So I can be nice and bright and sprightly to hang out with y'all and kick it on Tuesday. So I will see y'all Tuesday. Love you guys. See y'all later. Bye-bye.